Perfect.
But I want to talk about the one thing that's the most important to me,
Yes.
that I think is the biggest travesty of this show.
Okay.
And it comes down to like the lore and the breaking of the lore in this situation, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and then just a lack of understanding of Star Wars and the characters within it and the rules they have already played. You know what I mean? So the lighter ones are like, like Ki-Adi-Mundi. There's a lot of like stuff about him not being born yet, and that was decanonized. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can make the argument that they changed the date.
Ki-Adi-Mundi is the one that has like the cone head.
Yeah. He was supposed to have been born like in the legends. He was born much later than this.
Mm-hmm.
I think his race only.
Did they say it was him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, his name. Yeah, he was in the credits as Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you and so arguing that's fine because Disney already decided to decanonize everything.
Yeah.
So they can say, oh well, he's older now, or his people live longer than originally we said.
Right.
That's fine. Whatever. They've been doing that, so who cares? But my issue with that was that like the big thing was that he was saying there's been no Sith for millennium, right? That's his line in Phantom Menace.
Okay.
But for them to bring him into this show and to know that there's something going on and that Jedi have died, for some reason on this planet, and then to turn around and be like, yeah, there's been no issues for the last 1,000 years.
There's been no Sith.
Like, why even bring him into this show and make him closer to the situation? Because now, what are you trying to paint him as also a dishonest person because he knew something was going on, didn't say anything in the Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
And then also bringing Yoda in at the end.
Yeah.
That was like, how did he? I mean, he sensed all the Jedi dying in the Order 66. He didn't sense any of these Jedi getting killed. He didn't sense that Vanestra was lying.
Right.
Or we don't know the conversation that she had with him at the end of the show because it ends.
Yeah, it cuts off.
But either way, one, if she lies to Yoda, he should know that she's lying about that. And then, on the same token, if she doesn't lie to Yoda, is Yoda hiding this from everybody? And so now Yoda's a piece of shit also?
Now, man.
Like,
okay, that's what I'm... That's not what I'm waiting for. But if they go that far and they do that,
right? Try to
which
say that
I don't.
These high council members in the prequels, are all not great either.
Right?
They're all lying. Or Ki-Adi-Mundi and Yoda are in cahoots and they're lying about what happened 100 years ago. And now it's like, if they would have like taken care of it back then, the skeletons in the closet wouldn't have came back.
Or if they weren't so aggressive or they weren't so whatever back then, then it wouldn't have.
So now that they're involved in this, how much do they know? And how much do they hide from everybody?
Right. And so how dumb do you got to be to know all this stuff and it's still ends up, you still end up letting it happen. Okay.
Yeah. So that super bothered me. And then the other thing was with, I know I brought this up in the last episode we did about these twins being born.
Yeah.
Or this one being split in two.
Right.
By the Force. So they put Plagueis in the show, right? Darth Plagueis, who is Palpatine's master. He's in the show. He has a short cameo. He's creeping in that cave. And it remains to be seen. I mean, I think Kamir knows about. He has to know about him because I think if they're gonna use this, I think Plagueis had like 7 acolytes that he was like auditioning, to see who could be his apprentice.
His apprentice,
really? Right?
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
And so I think Kamir and Osha are probably gonna be among those 7 if they use this same story, right? Obviously, they lose out to Palpatine at some point, or Sidious, at some point. Yeah. But they like that. So there's that, right? So for them to bring him into the show and to be observing the twins, as if these witches created life with the Force.
Yeah.
This gives me an idea. Now I'm going to create life with the Force.
Yeah.
And then that's how Anakin gets created.
Yeah.
So he gets his idea from these fucking characters.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like that's the point. Like the whole creation of life can only be, the idea of it can only come from women. I feel like that's what they're.
Right.
Maybe.
And then Plagueis tries to do it. And then, the Force kicks back with Anakin. Right. So now it's like, my shitty characters are the reason why everything gets put into motion.
Yeah.
Not what Plagueis and Palpatine do. It's because even before that, my characters inspired that. And so this is my stamp. I created that. And now the reason why everything happens in Star Wars is because of me.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Do not come into Star Wars and put that big of a stamp and try to rewrite shit and try to be like, well, I want to do something. I want to have my lasting impression on Star Wars. Right. So I'm going to change and affect this, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like that's what a lot of Star Wars is right now. A lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a lot of people are doing that. I mean, to some extent, I mean, everybody likes Dave Filoni and he's like the second coming of Star Wars.
I question that guy too, man.
Yeah. I mean, isn't he doing the same thing? Trying to put his own stamp on it and trying to say like all this stuff comes back to these characters that I created, whether it's Ahsoka, whether it's the mother and or the father. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the father, daughter, and son? Whatever that triumvirate is.
Yeah.
Father, mother.
In the Clone Wars series,
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that too. And now I don't trust Dave Filoni either, man, because I mean, Ahsoka was all right to me.
Yeah.
And apparently he's the head of creative, you know, at Lucasfilm. So like he signs off on everything.
Right.
And they said he signs off on everything. I think I don't know if I was thinking about the last episode where we talked about this, but they for some reason they put one of the writers of Acolyte on Twitter and had her answer people's questions, and it went to shit. Like it was horrible. It was horrible, and she ended up slipping that she's like, oh well, everything goes through Dave. Like Dave signs off on everything, and then immediately like she deleted that. Like they told her to delete it. She deleted that response, but everyone, you know, screenshotted it, so everybody knows about it. So it's like Dave Filoni signed off on all this shit on the Acolyte. I mean, he's like Kathleen Kennedy's in charge, so she's probably like, Dave, you sign off on this or you're out. You know, maybe
that could be
maybe
could be.
Like you follow our
on the same
agenda
page,
or you're out. But we're on the same page. I'm like, and so I'm questioning Dave Filoni now because I feel like he did some good stuff with Clone Wars. You know, Rebels was okay to me. I didn't love Rebels. Like a lot of people loved Rebels. But I was all right with it. And Ahsoka wasn't my jam at all. Right. So is he really the freaking savior of Star Wars? Maybe not, man. Maybe not. And the Acolyte is proof, man, that this is like it's so mishandled. Yeah. And the people that are in charge should not be in charge of this. And how this show was greenlit and approved, and the writing, the scripts, everything was read and approved. Like, go make that. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how. And I know it's easy for us as people outside looking in to make these like judgments and calls. Yeah. But like every like agenda message aside, like this, it's not written well. Like stuff doesn't make sense in this show, man. Like stuff doesn't make the characters' motivations. Why May flip flops every like 4 times in this show? Right. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why did like in the last episode when Sol is chasing May, why did Basil sabotage his ship?
Oh yeah, Basil's a little bitch.
Like whose side is he on?
Whose side are you on, man?
Like what? And there's no follow up to that. Like all of a sudden, like you try to fight May, and you try to tell everybody that like or you know point out to Sol that this is May, not Osha. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when Sol is chasing her, you sabotage his ship. Like right. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
And you don't hold him accountable in any kind of way. You're not gonna like. Let's see him asking like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah, nobody questions.
Why, guy? Yeah.
Like what? There's like just so much shit like that. In this story that just does not make sense. Like it's like just because. Like the answer is just because. Right. And I truly don't understand how. Like something that was written so poorly, like that just did not make sense structurally. Yeah, how that was greenlit and how it was fun.